There are many ways to test RSAs, but regardless of the testing method you want to use, there's generally the same few steps you're going to go through in creating those RSAs for testing. So first, you can only have 3 active RSAs in an ad group. So if you happen to have a lot of RSAs, then go into your filters, go to ad count, and then find ad groups with equal to 3 active RSAs in an ad group. And so this is the first step, and we can apply this. These ad groups can't have a new RSA added to them. So we're going to select all these ad groups, go to Tools, go to Pause Ads. Then we're going to use the second option to pause so that we either have 1 or 2 enabled ads in each ad group. And then we're going to pause the ad width, and we can choose our metric type. And then if we have ETAs or something we want to run in the ad group as well, we could skip a type of ad and say just pause down to 2 ads in an ad group, but skip ETAs. So this will ensure all the ad groups have space for a new RSA in them. Now, we then need to use a copy function. So we're going to use our filters to filter down to the ad groups where we want to do this test. Once we've done our filters, then we're going to select those ad groups, go to Tools, go to Create Ads, and we're going to select Copy RSAs. Now, because you might have multiple RSAs in an ad group, you can choose what metric that you want to copy from. Is it the highest conversion rate RSA, the lowest CPA, so forth. Then you're going to want to add a label. Make this a specific label that is not being used by other RSAs right now. If you want to continue pinning and you're doing pinning tests, then you can also keep the same pinning as the source. Now, and then go ahead and proceed and create those. Now, if you only have 1 RSA per ad group, you can also go to the ad screen, filter by the specific RSAs that you want to copy, select those RSAs, go to Tools, go to Copy RSAs. It's the same process where you're going to add a label, but since in this case you're choosing the RSAs to copy, not finding the metrics across the ad groups, you're just going to have the one option. Now, once these again are created through either method, ad groups or ads. Next, what we want to do is go to our Manage RSA Assets. We're going to filter down to the specific ad label that we just used in creating those RSAs. Now, from the RSA Asset Manager, we'll be able to see how many different ads we have that match that label, how many ad groups are in campaigns, and so forth. Then we could take the ads that we just created and we could do some mass edits. We could easily edit different descriptions. We could edit different headlines based on the testing type that you want to do. So for instance, you're doing theme testing where one set of RSAs is using 2 or 3 pinned headline 2s, maybe talking about pricing, and a different set of RSAs is talking about discounts. Then you could go ahead and edit those prices to talk about discounts, go to the pinning, and if you have multiple ads, you'll be able to change the pinning for all the ads at once, where you can select everything and then pin all those assets in a certain line. And that'll create that next one you want to test. Now, if you've created RSAs that have very few headlines and you just want to mass add additional headlines, then go back to your ad screen. Again, filter by that ad label, select all those RSAs, go to Tools. And here you can add some additional assets. So you could add the headlines that you want to test. And that way you can easily create them. And then once these are created, you'll automatically have an A/B test set up and running because you'll have 2 different and possibly 3 different RSAs in the ad group. If you want to do a label test where you aggregate the data for each RSA label set, so you understand, hey, overall is pricing doing best or is discounts doing best across all the ads in the test, then you can go ahead and set up a test where you're saying label 1 is pricing, label 2 is discounts, and do a multi-ad group test where we're aggregating that RSA asset data by the labels to see the big scope of how it's working. If you just want your standard test, then they'll show up in your single ad group tests. So by following this simple process of using the tools to pause ads to make sure you have space for a new one, copying your RSAs from either screen, using Manage RSA Assets after you filter down to that ad label, then you can easily make adjustments, and then using the Add RSA Assets to add new assets across all those ads, and then choosing your testing method. And by following those simple steps, it's very easy to set up, manage, and evaluate your RSA ad tests.